Hi, everybody. Welcome. Hopefully, this finds you well and everybody's doing good. I know this can be a, somehow a bit of a stressful time of year for many. And basically, that's why I'm here. So, I wanted to give you a little, like a short and sweet video, 3 yoga postures to keep your zen through the Christmas period or the holiday period. Um, and the reason for this is, don't worry, we got you covered. We've got other videos coming too. But um, uh, this is, I guess, my way of saying you don't need a whole yoga practice to take care of yourself, right? So often we have quite hectic schedules and we want to try and see everybody and family dinners and lots of cooking and lots of this and that, and sometimes our yoga practice sort of falls in the background and we tend to forget about that, forget about ourselves, right? Sometimes, and of course, speaking of personal experience, this happens very often. So I thought, why not do a quick 10-15 minute session where we just do 3 yoga postures. We don't need to do much, right? A little goes a long way, is what my teacher always used to say, and it's so very true. So we'll just, I'll guide you through 3 very easy yoga postures, and then hopefully that will kind of like make you hit the reset button, right? So kind of take a quick little break, whether it's from Yemakunto or whether it's from the last minute shopping, or yeah, as I said, busy schedule. So hopefully this just makes it more accessible to you so that you don't have to think, oh, I need half an hour to do this yoga practice. No, you just need 10 minutes. That's all. So, and you might notice that as soon as you're done with these 3 postures, maybe you'll be like, oh, but I kind of feel like this posture or this posture. And before you know it, you have done 20 minutes of yoga, right? Because it often truly is the hardest thing is to actually get on the mat, right? Is to actually get from doing what you're doing to saying, okay, I want to do some yoga, and then saying, okay, cool, I'm gonna roll out the mat. That's the hardest part. So if you're here, you've done the hardest part. The hard part is over. So let's jump into it. If you have blankets or pillows nearby, go ahead and grab those. You don't need them, but they might be a useful tool for some. So if you have them, you can grab them now. Then you don't even need a mat. So if you want, you can just do this on, if you have like a nice little carpet or maybe even on a towel or a blanket on the floor. So you don't even need a yoga mat for this, right? So first posture is Paschimottanasana. So we're coming into a seated forward fold. So the way that I get into this posture usually is that I bring my hips underneath me. So I sort of bring my left and right hip really nice and square underneath my spine. And then I don't have blankets or pillows here, but I'm just going to use this just to show you. So if you feel like you have a really sort of stiff lower back, what you can do is you can build yourself maybe like a little mini fort and just kind of bring the space up towards you. So what then happens is, I'm going to turn this around, this is not going to want to say, but what happens is we want to find length in the spine. Maybe we'll stretch it out sideways here. And then from there, we want to come all the way forward. Imagine painting a wall all the way forward, and then we come into our forward fold. So what we tend to forget in this posture, we want to rush and we want to get to, okay, cool, can I reach my toes, right? But then what happens if we're really stiff in the lower back is that we tend to come into the posture like this. Whereas what we want to try and achieve is try and find a nice long spine. And maybe that means residing here today, right? So just see what feels best for you. And now I always say it, your body, your practice, right? So you know your body best. And we want to try and adapt our practices so that it serves ourselves, right? And that's going to look different for everybody. So nice and slow, we start to breathe deep. And you might notice that I'm sort of swaying a little bit side to side. So sometimes, depending on which classes you go to, you might find that some teachers teach in a way that is very still and sort of static. I like to find movement because I feel that, especially in the harder postures, finding the staticness and sort of not moving can actually be counterintuitive and counterproductive because you tend to tense up certain muscles. Whereas if we find some movement, we keep everything nice and soft and flexible. So this is a great posture to soothe your sympathetic nervous system. So this is the fight and flight mode that we're in most of the time. And by coming into this posture, we tend to switch to our parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest phase, right? So we give our body time to rest and repair, and our mind to rest as well. And if you ever feel, say you're, in a sort of stressful moment, if you ever feel very tight in your chest and sort of the diaphragm area, maybe from too much shallow breathing or just too much going on, or maybe even a tightness in the throat, this is a really good posture to come to because you open everything up and you lengthen everything out. So it helps with some of the blockages there. All right, let's take a few more deep breaths in. Maybe you found that through sitting here and breathing through these postures, you might have already found some space, right? Because that's what happens. It's when we give ourselves time to be and time to explore, maybe we find more and more space. And you can release the weight of the head down here. A few more deep breaths in and out. And then we'll take another deep breath in. And then on the exhale, slowly, mindfully rolling it all the way up. And then rolling the shoulders back. Long spine. And then you have your eyes closed like me, maybe we'll open them up reluctantly because that felt really good. And then we will come into our second posture, which is legs up the wall. It's a very fancy name. So I'm going to use this one over here. So if you have something to layer, so maybe blankets or pillows, go ahead and use them. Put them nice and close against the wall. You don't need them, but it might give you a little bit more of a soothing way of coming into the posture. So you really don't need much for this one, but the only easy way to get into this posture is to come sideways against the wall and sort of bring your butt as close as you can to the wall surface, right? And then we want to lie down first. Trust me, this has been a trial and error kind of thing. So come on sideways and then bring your legs all the way up. So nice and slow. Center myself a bit more. You find a bit more space. So you can find active feet here, or you can kind of relax them out. So usually, if this is your first time with your legs up the wall, is our habit that we have is to kind of like keep flexing everything and keep everything in line, because we feel that if we relax that everything's gonna fall down, right? So your legs are gonna fall one way or the other. But trust me, they don't. Somehow they know that they should stay up there. And then you can bring the arms all the way out if that feels good, or alongside the body. I often bring one hand to my belly, one hand to my chest. So find maybe some time to close the eyes here. Relax the soles of the feet, relax the legs. So this is a wonderful posture to be in if you've been on your feet all day. You know, what we're doing here is literally allowing the blood to rush the opposite way. So if we've been on our feet all day, you know, gravity has worked its way all the way down, but we want to make it work all the way back up. So we're changing the blood flow direction and we are oxygenating the body. And by changing the blood flow direction, we're also bringing lots and lots of, oxygen is one thing, but awareness and maybe even some slight pressure to the upper body. So this means that if you have any respiratory issues, so asthmas or allergies or just a tightness in the chest and throat area, this is a really good posture to come to just open it all up, find more and more space, and allow gravity to do its work. So let's take a few deep breaths here, really settling into the moment. Noticing how this feels to your legs, how it feels to the upper body, to the mind. A couple more sweet, long breaths. And nice and slow, we'll bring our hands back out and literally come into or come out of this posture the same way we came in. So you want to roll to one side and then come back out. All right, then we'll come back to the mat. And then last but not least, our third and last posture of the day is bridge. So this is one that probably most of you have done already. If not, if this is your first time, welcome to bridge pose. So we'll come and lie all the way onto our backs, taking the time to get set up here. And you want to try and find healthy alignment. So this is really important because sometimes we tend to splay out the feet or bring them all the way in. So let's try and find healthy alignment in the sense that everything follows the hip, right? So you have knees above the hips, and then you have your feet underneath your knees. So you want to try to find that line. And if you have trouble with it, you use a pillow or a book, or if you have a block, go ahead and squeeze out between the lower thighs or the knees here. So this might be a good tool. Okay. And then from here, we'll plant the palms And then maybe snuggle the shoulder blades just a little bit underneath you. Find a bit more of an open chest. And then lift the toes, and then nice and slow, we're going to put them down one by one. So we want to find that connection of all four corners of the feet touching the earth here. All right, then nice and slow, we're going to take a deep breath in, and as we breathe in, let's start bringing the pelvis all the way up. Really slowly, mindfully. And then once you start to come all the way up here, let's focus on bringing chest to chin and then chin to sky. So we don't want to look down so that we're compressing the vertebrae in the neck. So look upwards. And take another deep breath in. And then on the exhale, we're going to descend the same way. So let's not rush this. Let's take our time to rediscover the spine. So can you unroll one vertebrae at a time? And all the way down until your tailbone hits the mat. And then inhale, let's rise back up, same way. One vertebrae at a time. And you know, often this is the thing as well, with all the rushing and not taking as much time for ourselves, is that we lose that connection to our bodies. And in the essence, that is yoga, right? It's study of the self, study of the body, of the mind, the spirit. So maybe this is a good opportunity to reconnect to that beautiful danda, that staff or spine. All right, on the exhale, we'll slowly lower again. And then slowly, last inhale, reaching all the way back up. And this time, again, chest to chin, chin to sky. Maybe we find a bind. So interlacing the fingertips underneath, finding a bit more space. A few deep breaths in here. Pressing into all four corners of the feet. And then last but not least, on your next breath in, maybe you lift the hips a little bit higher. Yeah, what do you know? There's always a bit more space. And then exhale, we'll release the bind. Slowly descend all the way down. And whenever you get there, let's roll to one side here, using our arm to push ourselves back up. And we find a nice, comfortable seat again. And even this, let's not rush back into what's happening next, right? So take your time to move mindfully once we come out of the last posture, once we come out of Shavasana or any other yoga posture or yoga practice. You know, how we move matters, and if we want to take time for ourselves and we want to hit that reset button, there's no point in doing it if as soon as you're done with your last breath, it's like, bam, up and moving and I'm rushing back to the next thing. The idea is that we hold on to that sort of peace and quiet, that presence within the present moment and within ourselves, and to maybe take that with us into what we're doing next. To do it a bit more mindfully, a bit more kindly, right? Okay, so as we're here, let's take a few more deep breaths in together. Maybe bring the thumbs up to the third eye or up to the heart space, whatever feels right. And nice and slow, we'll take 3 deep breaths in together. And 3 slow exhales out together. And then may your last breath be the deepest breath you've taken all day. Maybe even a belly breath if it feels good. Inhale lots of love in. And exhale lots of love out. Thank you for sharing your practice with me and everybody else. As always, I want to hear from you in the comments below. So let's connect, even though virtually. Let's see how this went. Let me know how you feel. And hopefully see you soon. So thank you for sharing your practice. And as always, from my heart to yours. Namaste.